I think we're all aware of the global crisis that is happening right now because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But today we're going to look at how this has been affecting the video games industry, and take a look at how companies are responding to Ukraine's call for action. Hi there, I'm Rob Glob and you're watching Higher Level Gaming. Mikhail Fedorov, the Ukrainian Vice Prime Minister, tweeted this on March 2nd. At Xbox and at PlayStation, you are definitely aware of what is happening in Ukraine. Russia declared war not for Ukraine but for all of the civilized world. If you support human values, you should leave the Russian market. I think we can all forgive the language barrier considering the circumstances that are going on right now. And here we can see the official statement by the Ukrainian government to all game development companies and esports platforms. The Russian Federation carried out a deceptive and outrageous military attack. Imagine cruise missiles attacking residential neighborhoods in 2022, kindergartens and hospitals in the heart of Europe. It goes on to say, I am sure you will not only hear but do everything possible to protect Ukraine, Europe, and finally the entire democratic world from bloody authoritarian aggression. I appeal to temporarily block all Russian and Belarusian accounts, temporarily stop the participation of Russian and Belarusian teams and gamers in all international esports events, and cancel international events holding on the territory of Russia and Belarus. We are sure such actions will motivate the citizens of Russia to proactively stop the disgraceful military aggression. Yours sincerely, Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine, Mikhail Fedorov. Maybe we'll all get lucky and angry Russian CSGO players will just assassinate Putin for us. We all know they have the skills. Again on the 3rd, they tweeted at Epic Games, Nintendo, Rockstar, 2K, Bandai Namco, Konami, Tencent, etc., asking them to halt sales of games in Russia. Now the big news today, as of filming this, Microsoft, Xbox will now be stopping sales in Russia as well. Microsoft said this today, like the rest of the world, we are horrified, angered, and saddened by the images and news coming from the war in Ukraine and condemn this unjustified, unprovoked, and unlawful invasion by Russia. We are announcing today we will suspend all new sales of Microsoft products and services in Russia. They also say that their single most impactful area of work is the protection of Ukraine's cybersecurity, and it's true that Microsoft for a while now has been helping Ukraine with their cybersecurity. No doubt extremely critical during these times. And Microsoft aren't the only ones to make a stand. Electronic Arts is also stopping sales in Russia. And just a few days ago in all of their sports games, they removed Russian and Belarusian teams. It's also now being reported that the Nintendo eShop is blocking sales in Russia. Sony Gaming at this point seems to be the only company that hasn't done this of the big three. Sony has not announced any plans to cease sales of games in Russia yet. However, the production studios for Disney, Warner, and Sony have stopped screening in Russia. So the company hasn't done nothing, you could say. I wouldn't be surprised if they also make a stance like Nintendo and Xbox in the coming few days now. Besides the major studios, CD Projekt Red, they've actually thrown their support behind Ukraine and they've been trying to support them for a couple weeks now. They recently made a big donation of $1 million Poland dollars to Ukraine, and they released a statement today as well, announcing that they would be ceasing all sales in Russia. CD Projekt is of course in neighboring Poland, which, if Ukraine falls into Russia control, will then become a border state with Russia. It is also a powerful NATO ally, which could spell problems for the world. Almost a couple weeks ago, Bungie also made a post where they talked about donating to Ukraine, and they even had a drive to raise money to do so for humanitarian aid. Now obviously Bungie being a first-party studio at Xbox, they will no longer be selling their games in Russia either. Of course, the development studios hit hardest are those that are from Ukraine, including Frogwares. Frogwares developed the popular Lovecraftian horror game The Sinking City. They've had this to say about the conflict. Day 7, last week we were making games, preparing versions of Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, and working on new projects. Today there are people running on our streets with guns in hand. Bombings of our cities haven't stopped. Our people remain strong and our team remains strong. This war started 8 years ago in 2014. That's famously when Russia took Crimea from Ukraine. At that time, our game Crimes and Punishment was effectively banned from Russia because it contained a splash screen in dedication to the Heavenly Hundred, the people who died in Maidan Square to defend Ukraine and kick out a violent, ruthless president. These were protesters in favor of democracy that were killed in Ukraine. Before us, Russia invaded a part of Georgia, a part of Moldova, and has been keeping for years frozen conflicts active in weaker countries. In 2017, we collaborated with the International Committee of the Red Cross to create a flyer for the attention of civilians for IEDs both in Ukrainian and Russian language. Make no mistakes, what happens today is the consequence of do not mix business and politics mentality. In reality, power is above the rule of law if the rule of law puts business at a great risk. Fortunately, the free world is waking up and seeing when united in adversity, autocrats are fragile and isolated. We need to win this war for Ukrainians in Ukraine and also for the free world. They end by leaving links to humanitarian organizations that you can contribute to try to help the Ukrainians during this time. It's really such a shame that the people who have power so often abuse it and everyone else is left to pick up the pieces. And unfortunately, just today, another Ukrainian studio, GSC Game World, announced that Stalker 2 development has been shifted to the sidelines, despite their hopes to continue soon. They released a video to update all their fans about what's been going on at the studio through this conflict. They say on the 24th of February, Russia declared war on Ukraine and sent rockets, tanks, and soldiers to our homeland. Our country is forced to fight for existence again. Seems like this is the price of freedom. This video is our answer to how are you guys? Now we are striving to help our employees and their families survive. The game development shifted to the sidelines, but we will definitely continue after the victory. Glory to Ukraine. Ironically, the Stalker game series takes place in a post-nuclear Ukraine. One can only hope that something resembling that isn't in our future. For me, gaming has always been a form of escapism, a way to get out of my normal everyday problems and enter into a fantastical world where you always get to be the hero and there's always a chance to try again and conquer your next villain. Hearing the stories of studios like Frogwares really can put it into perspective for gamers like us that this is a problem affecting everyone and every aspect of our lives. Gaming is the perfect example of what happens when you decide not to fight with people that you don't understand. When you instead decide to play with them, then amazing things can happen and relationships can be built beyond any barrier. Be that language or identity or politics or anything. Gaming brings people together. It's been pretty incredible to see so many gaming companies come together to do the right thing in this time. For all of my and other people's complaints about practices in the games industry, this is surely a trend that we can all get behind. Even though it is sad that unfortunately that means that Russian gamers are going to suffer for this. Because again, it's those who are powerful, business owners, titans of industry, quote unquote, oligarchs. The people who actually start these conflicts, they're the ones who should have to pay for them, not everyday people like you and me, or innocent Russians. It's really sad that Russian gamers are going to be suffering because of all these decisions, and the Russian people in general are going through a tumultuous economic time, to put it lightly. But in order for us to all come back together at Plea, the fighting has to end. This has been a gaming news update by HigherLevelGaming. You can subscribe to always find out when we post videos like this one. We focus on politics in gaming. Or you can just give us a like, that helps out a lot too. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to go play some video games.